What is going on, my broskies? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. Finally, today we can bring you guys another video, once again talking about the anniversary characters arriving on One Piece Treasure Cruise Japan. There has been a data download. We now have the full information of every single character arriving in this Sugo Fest batch, and in this video, we are going to be going through every single one of these characters in their entirety and discussing them along the way. So hopefully you guys do go into enjoy this video. First of all, want to give a massive shout out to Anton over on the One Piece Treasure Cruise subreddit for doing the data download ripping and getting all the sprites for these characters, because the artwork looks so good and so clean, because he is able to go ahead and rip them out of the game. So big shout out to Anton. Links to his channel will be in the description down below. But without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get straight into the video. So now we can get into the breakdown of each of these characters. So the way this video is going to be structured is we are going to be talking about each individual character, talking about their solo captain effects first, then we'll move on to their dual captain effect and their special, and then we'll also finish off with their switching effect. Now, I haven't listed the sailor abilities in this specific video, but I have them up on the side here, and if they have any like very noteworthy specific sailor abilities, I will let you guys know. So here we go. Mr. Zero and Miss All Sunday, Crocodile being a Dex character and Robin being an Int character. When they are combined, they are Cerebral Striker, and at max level, at level 99 with Limit Break, 2923 health, 1531 attack, and 395 recovery. So pretty good stats overall, I would say. 30 cost, 5 socket spots after Limit Break, of course. So with Crocodile's captain effect, he's the first character that is actually out on the field when you enter a dungeon. His captain effect states he's going to boost the attack of Cerebral characters by 2.5 times, and Dex orbs will be counted as matching for Cerebral as well. A pretty okay, I would say, captain effect. A lot of these rare recruits have pretty average captain effects until we get to the legends, of course. And then Robin's captain effect will go ahead and boost the attack of all characters, of Cerebral characters, by 2.25, and then reduce damage taken by 15%. So that's actually pretty good, having some nice damage reduction statistics with Robin. And like what usually happens when you combine these characters together after activating the special ability, it takes components of both of the solo captains and combines them into their combined captain effect. So with the combined captain of Mr. Zero and Miss All Sunday, they'll go ahead and boost the attack of Cerebral characters by 3 times, and then reduce damage by 20%, and Dex orbs will be matching for Cerebral characters. For a rare recruit character, that is a very good captain effect, and the special ability of this character, maxing at 13 turns, will go ahead and reduce damage taken by 80%, and boost color affinity of all characters by 1.75 times for 1 turn, and they will combine into the dual unit for 2 turns. So that is a running theme with this particular batch, is that all of them are dual units, of course, and whenever they use the special ability, aside from the legends, they will combine only for 2 turns. So this isn't like a captain that you could bring to a dungeon, use it on a mini boss stage, and then carry it into the final stage. Unfortunately, that is not the case, but it's still pretty nice to know that, you know, if you do need to run them as a captain, that is an option. But talking about the special ability, right, 80% damage reduction is very good, and on top of that, a rainbow 1.75 times color affinity is always going to be useful. I'm a massive fan of this character, and also the fact that they do combine as well. So when they do combine, they do get some pretty cool sailor abilities, of course. Mr. Zero will go ahead and restore his own special cooldown by 2 turns when it's rewinded, and Robin will go ahead and reduce own silence or special bind by 2 turns. And then also when they are actually limit broken, you will make Dex orbs beneficial for Cerebral as well. So there's lots of characters that already make Dex orbs beneficial to Cerebral. But overall, a pretty good start to this batch, but we are going to be finishing off with the switching ability of this character, and unfortunately, this is by far the worst of the switching abilities that we have out of this batch, so we can get it out of the way. So their switching effect states that it's only going to boost the rate of matching orbs slightly for 1 turn, and it's really bad because it doesn't even randomize your orbs either, though that can be quite annoying depending on, you know, your situation and what team you are running. So overall, I'm not a big fan of the switching ability, but the special ability of Rainbow Color Affinity is definitely the big draw to this character. So moving on to the second rare recruit of the batch, we have Ivankov and Bon Clay. We have Ivankov being a Psi unit, and we have Bon Clay being a Strength unit. When they are combined, they are Free Spirit Fighter characters, and at max level, at level 99 with their Limit Break, 2717 health, 1482 attack, and 466 recovery. Very good recovery stats overall, and you'll see why that's the case with their special. 30 cost, of course, and 5 socket spots following their limit break. Now, the Ivankov side of the captain effect will boost the attack of free spirit characters by 2 times, and then recover 2 times this character's recovery at the end of each turn. So this is obviously going to be a character that you want to be feeding recovery candies to, and that is going to be displayed even more when we talk about the dual captain and the special ability. Bond Clay will go ahead and boost the attack of free spirit by 2.25, and then 2.7 times after scoring 4 perfects in a row. Pretty weird number for 2.7 times, but it is what it is. Not a very good captain effect overall. But then we can talk about their dual captain effect after you activate their special, boosting the attack of free spirit by 2.75, and then also boosting it by 3.43 after 4 perfects in a row, and recover 3 times this character's recovery at the end of each turn. So again, it's okay. It is usable, but I definitely would not suggest using this character as a captain. Their special ability, though, is actually insane. Maxing out at 15 turns, it states that it's going to remove all forms of poison, all of your recovery down, and all of your blindness. That is an amazing start to the special, and then on top of that, reduces 5 turns of bind and despair, and then on top of that, recovers 13 times this character's recovery for the next 5 turns, and then becomes Bond Clay and Ivankov for 2 turns. So this character is just an all-round utility character, and this character definitely will see play. Removing all forms of poison is always going to be useful. Actually, that's ridiculously useful because having a really good character on like a Lucci team, I've mentioned this previously, but there aren't that many good strength decks or quick characters that can remove poison that are usable. Obviously, like Rare Recruit Smoothie is a very good option to removing poison, but this is yet another good option if you want to go ahead and do so, if you have Bond Clay as the character out on the actual screen. But overall, I'm a pretty big fan of this character. 5 turns of Bind and Despair is actually pretty useful as well. There are definitely times where you'll get binded for more than the amount of turns that your sockets can provide, and more than, an additional 3 turns. So the fact that this character can remove 5 turns, if you add sockets on top of that, that can reduce up to 8 turns basically of Bind and Despair, which is freaking awesome. And then the recovery is an added bonus for this character as well. And then to finally finish off this character, let's talk about the switching effect, which is very good as well. Reduces paralysis on all characters by 1 turn, and reduce damage taken by 20%. That is such a good switching effect, reducing paralysis on all characters. A lot of the times when there are like switching abilities that reduce a debuff, it's usually only for that character, but this is a character that supports your whole team, which I am a very, very big fan of, and hopefully we get more switching effects like this in the future. The next rare recruit we're going to discuss is going to be Smoker and Toadskii, where we have Smoker is a quick character and Toadskii is a side character. When they are fully combined, they are a driven slasher character. A little bit weird. I would have thought it might have been, striker slasher, but it's going to be driven slasher. And when they are combined with max limit break as well, their stats are 2911 health, 1502 attack, and 438 recovery, with 30 cost and 5 socket spots after limit break, of course. Smoker's captain effect, he's going to be the first character out on the field, and he's going to boost quick characters attack by 2.5, and all other types will get 2 times attack, and also all characters will get a 1.2 times HP boost. Pretty okay, I would say, for a rare recruit captain effect. And then Toadskii is the exact same captain effect, except that side characters will get 2.5 times attack instead of quick. So overall, like pretty stock standard, like average sort of captain effect you'd see on a rare recruit character. Talking about their combined captain effect though, it's going to boost the attack of quick and Psy by 3.25 times, and then all other types will get 2.5 times attack, and then you still have the 1.2 times HP boost. That is a very good captain effect for a rare recruit character. 3.25 just for the 2 turns you're active is pretty solid, and depending on what team you are running, you could potentially see using this guy as a captain, because 3.25 is still sort of usable on medium difficulty content, but still not the most amazing thing you'll ever see. Special ability maxes 14 turns that deals 100,000 fixed damage to all enemies, and that's already amazing. Like there are some legends that do like Kuzan, right? Like Kuzan's 100,000 fixed damage to all enemies, and just a regular rare recruit has it now. Also changes all type orbs and block orbs on all characters to matching, and then locks those orbs for 1 turn. Yes, that is all characters will get matching orbs, no matter what. So yeah, it changes all type orbs. Obviously, just want to reiterate that. Strength, Dex, Quick Sight, Int, and block orbs into matching, which is so good. So the only orbs that won't be changed, obviously, are going to be like recovery, tandem, your bomb orbs, G orbs, and stuff like that. But that's still such an amazing sort of special ability that could definitely see play in a lot of teams. So I'm a big fan of the way this character is built. And to talk about very quickly their switching effect, it states that it's going to change recovery, tandem, G, and bomb into matching, and then get 1000 HP recovery. So this character by itself is going to give you a full board of matching orbs. Like, this character is actually really good. I am a massive fan of this character. Just the fact that you get the full board of orbs no matter what. Obviously, you can't really get around interrupts, but the really cool thing is, right, is that whenever you activate a switching effect of a character, it doesn't activate special interrupts of the enemy. So if you are in a situation where you get like a full board of bomb, tandem, G, or recovery orbs, and you want to change them into matching, you can just switch this character and you get a full board of matching orbs plus 1000 HP recovery that's not really going to trigger an interrupt. So that's actually really interesting. I'm not really too sure if there's any circumstances where that is going to be useful, but it's there if you ever need it. So I'm a pretty big fan and very, very impressed with this new rare recruit. Now moving on to the final rare recruit of the batch before we get to the two brand new legend characters, it's going to be Lucci and Kaku, my boys from CP9. Lucci is a strength unit, Kaku is a dex unit. When they are fully combined, they are considered as a powerhouse slasher character. Now at max level, level 99 with their limit break, 3095 health, 1621 attack, so the highest attack stat out of all of the regular rare recruit characters in this batch, and 342 recovery with 30 cost and 5 socket spots. Now, Lucci's captain effect will go ahead and state it's going to boost powerhouse characters' attack by 2.75 times when you have a matching slot. Otherwise, it will only be a 2.25 times boost, and then reduce your crew's recovery by a certain multiplier. It doesn't actually state on their captain effect, but I would consider it to be a pretty significant recovery boost. And then Kaku's captain effect will boost powerhouse characters' attack by 2.25, and then boost type damage of powerhouse character specials by 1.25 times. This is something that we don't see too often nowadays. There were a couple characters back in the early days of Treasure Cruise that did something like this. Such as, Rare Recruit Fossa, who doubled the damage of strength character specials. And I mean, another character that does it that is relatively recent is Treasure Map Big Mom, that does the boosting of type damage specials. And Kaku does the same sort of thing here, but it's only specifically for powerhouse characters. Either way, I think it's actually a pretty unique thing that we don't really see too often, so I'm happy to see it brought back for a new Rare Recruit character. When you use this special ability and you combine these characters together, the new captain effect will boost the attack of powerhouse characters by 3 times when you have a matching slot. Otherwise, it will be a 2.5 times boost to powerhouse characters. And then on top of that, boost type damage of powerhouse character specials by 1.5 times. So a slight boost of attack multipliers and the amplifier of the type damage boost from the captain effect from the solo captain effects. Now, the special ability of this character is so good. At 10 turns max cooldown after limit break, deals 50 times his attack in either strength or dex damage to all enemies, depending on who's out at the time. Obviously, if Lucci's out, it'll be strength damage. If Kaku's out, it will be dex damage. And then on top of this, if your captain is either a fighter, a slasher, or a powerhouse, they'll boost the attack of fighter, slasher, and powerhouse by 2 times for 1 turn, and then they'll combine for Lucci and Kaku for 2 turns. My god, that is absolutely amazing. What a special ability on a rare recruit character, boosting 3 separate classes that are relatively common by 2 times. Just, it's such a good special ability. My god. And just to finish this off, let's talk about the switching effect that states tandem orbs will be counted as matching for fighters, slashers, and powerhouse characters, and also add 0.3 to the chain multiplier for 1 turn. Again, like, kind of like, it's a pretty good switching effect. I wouldn't say it's a switching effect that you're going to be using all that often. I mean, especially for powerhouse, like, because of V2 Germa. V2 Germa are all about those tandem orbs, so I'm pretty sure they already have them all matching on the Germa team anyway, so you wouldn't need them for that specifically. But for the other teams, for fighters and for slasher teams specifically, that is going to be a useful effect to have. And just adding a slight chain boost as well, that's always going to be useful. And now we can finally talk about the legend characters of the batch. Now, I did make a video earlier today already discussing the brief outline of these characters, but now, since the data download, we now have the solo captain effects of each of these legend characters, and we have all the abilities much more fleshed out, and we know exactly what these characters do now. So here we have Big Mom, Zeus, and Prometheus. So this is, I would say, the first double or dual character that is actually considered to be 3 characters, right? Because for the solo captain effect, one of them is Big Mom and Zeus, and the other one is Big Mom and Prometheus. So it's just a slight swap between which homies she is actually activating at the time. So with these characters, all of them are int characters, no matter which character you have out at the time. And when they are using the dual captain effect, they are considered powerhouse and slasher. I would assume she's considered powerhouse and slasher no matter which version she's in. And at max level, at level 99 with her limit break, 4,832 health. That is so humongous, and if you add HP candies on top of that, definitely has one of the highest HP values in the entire game. Attack value of 1898. So again, when you have cotton candies, one of the best attack values in the entire game. And the recovery stat of 188. So definitely really low recovery, but obviously makes up for that with very high health and attack with 55 cost and 5 socket spots. Now, as we said, each of these dual captain effects or the solo captain effects are with Big Mom and Zeus or Big Mom and Prometheus. And funnily enough, they actually have the exact same captain effect no matter which one you switch into, which is very absurd. So the only reason why you would need to switch is to activate, obviously, the switching effect, which we will discuss a little bit later. So prior to activating the special ability of this character, the captain effect will state that when you have one of each type on your crew, so at least 1 strength, 1 dex, 1 quick, 1 psi, and obviously this character being int, you're going to get increased damage taken by 1.75. However, you get 2 times health and then 3.25 times attack all the time, which is pretty decent, I would say. However, obviously, you know, the captain effect after the special is going to be amazing. Also, recovers HP at the end of the turn, depending on the amount of enemies that have been defeated. People were saying that it is based off your crew's recovery. So in a hypothetical situation, if you have, let's say your crew has 2,000 recovery, and if you kill 2 enemies, you heal your recovery multiplied by 2 because you killed 2 enemies. So about a 4,000 recovery. I'm not 100% sure if that is how it works, but people were talking about that a little bit earlier. So that actually seems pretty decent. If you're recovering that much health every single turn, just every time you kill something, you get that much recovery back, that would be very impressive. And obviously, as we said, they have the same captain effect no matter which one you switch into. So let's go ahead and talk about what happens when you do activate the special ability and combine these characters. So once again, it's the exact same as what we said earlier in my previous video, being a 1.75 times damage taken increase, as well as giving you 2 times health and 4 times attack when you have one of each color on the crew, and then once again recover HP at the end of the turn depending on the amount of enemies that you have been defeated. Now, the special ability of Big Mom, we didn't know what the max cooldown was going to be, but we now have confirmation. It maxes at 10 freaking turns for what she does. I think that is absurd, but let's talk about it, right? For 1 turn, adds base attack to all characters depending on the HP remaining upon activation. Once again, I talked about this in my previous video, a very new buff that we haven't seen in the game before, where depending on how much health you have remaining, and the max value here is if you have 100,000 health remaining on your team, every single character on your crew gets 1,000 additional attack. So in this situation right here, when Big Mom is your captain, you see 1898 is the attack value. That will become 2,898 when you activate the special, and if you have 100,000 health remaining. And that is the craziest thing, because that will also affect the abilities of other character specials that you activate. In a hypothetical situation, if you have a character that does damage based on the attack value of that character, if you boost their base attack, that will affect how much damage that character does with their special ability. On top of that, if you have a character that adds tap timing bonus, that will also affect it. Characters such as Legend Zephyr, Legend Inuarashi, Raid Sabo, Treasure Map Shanks, those type of characters. You can do some really crazy stuff, and I think that those type of characters would be very beneficial to run on a Big Mom team. However, Big Mom doesn't always do that. She'll also have an added effect stating that when you activate the special, and if she's above half health, you get a 3.5 times chain lock for 1 turn. and then we'll get the dual captain effect for 3 turns. This character is very good, and it's going to be super interesting to see how Japanese players are able to use this character in very, very unique ways. I'm excited to see how this character is going to run. And finally, let's talk about the switching effect of Big Mom. The whole reason why you would need to swap between 2 of the exact same captain effects. She's going to go ahead and remove paralysis on herself completely and changes her own orb into matching and boost her own attack and own slot effects by 1.5 times. That's freaking amazing, yo. That is so goddamn useful because that will enable you to essentially get a 2.25 times boost for herself. Because the 1.5 multiplied by 1.5, that's 2.25. And then if you count the matching orb as well, like Big Mom, when you switch, gets amazing damage output. And I'm a pretty big fan of that. And the fact that she also reduces paralysis is very good. Though the fact that Big Mom herself is based on, you know, her having the matching orb and her getting an orb boost, it would have been so nice if she removed slot bind on herself and paralysis, but you can't really complain considering this character is what she is. So, I mean, it's a pretty good switching effect. I would have loved for her to have slot bind reduction, but, it is what it is. I think that this character overall is very unique and is going to be very powerful in the next upcoming content. This is it, guys. This is the moment you guys have all been waiting for, the breakdown of Monkey D. Luffy and Trafalgar Law. So, let's get straight into it. Monkey D. Luffy is a dex unit. Trafalgar Law is a quick unit. When they are fully combined, they are considered as fighter slasher, as we all suspected, which is so good to see when you consider the fact that the Kizuna raid Sanji and Zoro are going to work exceptionally well with this brand new character. Now, when you do fully combine them and have them at max limit break, they have 4,157 health, 1,859 attack, and 530 recovery across the board. Top tier statistics. 55 cost, and 5 socket spots. Now, each of these solo captain effects are actually very, very straightforward. Luffy's captain effect is just simply boost all characters' attack by 3.5 times and HP by 1.25 times. Like, literally, what the hell? Universal 3.5 is ridiculous. I'm not a big fan of this character being universal. I said this in a couple of Discord servers earlier today. I would have personally preferred if Luffy and Law were just fighter and slasher boosters, or either just free spirit and cerebral boosters, or something like that. Just make them restrictive, because the fact that they boost all types and all classes, it's so absurd, because they are just that strong. They are that much above everything else right now. I'm not a fan of them being rainbow boosters, but you cannot take away from them how good they are. And obviously, this is the character that you should be pulling for. This is the best character in the game right now. Just saying it right now before we even talk about their dual captain effect, their switching effect, or their special. This is the best character in the game right now, hands down. Talking about Law though, in comparison to Luffy, he is a little bit more toned down. He's a 3 times rainbow booster, and also obviously giving 1.25 times health. However, every time you hit a perfect, you will heal 0.5 Law's recovery at the end of that turn. So that is actually really good, and it's very reminiscent of his previous version 2 quick Law counterpart. It's essentially the same sort of captain effect. So yeah, it's pretty good. I'm a big fan of the way Law's built, but 3.5 universal for Luffy is ridiculous. Now, the way that Luffy and Law are built, they are built like no other dual unit we've seen in the game before. So before we get into their dual captain effect and the switching effect, we're going to talk about each of their special abilities, right? So when Luffy is out on the field and you activate his special, it is a slightly different special from Law's. So Luffy will go ahead and deal 400 times his attack in non-type damage to a single enemy. And as I said in my previous video, if you actually calculate that, like, that is going to be like 800,000 damage to one enemy. That's bonkers. And then also for 1 turn, Dex and Quick are going to be counting as matching for your entire team, and boost your crew's orb effects by 2.5 times as well for 1 turn. 2.5 times universal orb boost, and universally Dex and Quick are matching for your entire team. Oh my god, this character is just too good. This character is too good, man. And a 3-turn combination becoming Luffy and Law. Now, comparing Law's special ability, it's essentially the same thing, but the damage is scaled differently. So instead of doing 400 times attack to one enemy, he does 75 times his attack in typeless damage to all enemies instead. And that AoE damage goes through barriers and other defensive effects, man. That is amazing. Law Special is definitely the better version in my personal opinion. AoE damage through barriers is very, very useful to have. And the fact that he does on a 12-turn cooldown, I don't know if I mentioned that already, 12-turn cooldown for this universal amazing special ability. I can't even fathom this right now, yo. It's too much. It's definitely too much. So now that we've gone through the specials, let's go ahead and talk about the dual captain and the switching effect. So when you do activate the special ability and fuse into Luffy and Law, their combined captain effect will boost all characters' attack by 4.5 times and give them a 1.25 times health boost, and then also recover 1 times his recovery at the end of each turn, depending on how many perfects you hit. It's the best captain effect in the entire game. There's nothing even comes close to it. Obviously, you only get it for 3 turns, but every other time outside of that, you're either getting a 3.5 times boost, or you're getting a 3 times boost with very good recovery available to your team, man. This is crazy. It's actually crazy. There's no other word to really describe it. I can't even believe that they would even come up with a character like this being universally boosted. That's the main problem with the character, is he's universal. And I've said this already multiple times this video, but I'm really not a fan of that. But if you guys thought that this was not enough, his switching effect also adds amazing abilities to himself, stating that it will completely remove slot bind on himself. He gives himself a matching orb that goes through block orbs as well. Even Big Mom did not give herself a matching orb through block orbs. And then boosts his own attack by 2 times for 1 turn, and his normal attacks are bypassing barriers for 1 turn. Oh my god. He goes through barriers as well with his normal attacks. And like, yeah, sure, you can see that like the thing is, right, like the 2 times attack to himself is whatever, because you can activate all your other attack boosts before you do that, right? And then you can go ahead and use their special ability on top of that, giving you a 4.5 times attack boost, and you're still going to go through barriers with his normal attacks. Like, oh my god. This character's too much. Hands down, best character in the game. And if you think he's not the best character in the game, fight me. He is the best character in the game. And yeah, he's going to be coming to global hopefully in a few months' time. I would assume, if we're talking about global, maybe around Christmas or New Year's, this would probably be our Sugo Fest. But man, I am really looking forward to this character coming out, because he is just too goddamn good. So that is going to wrap up this video, guys. I really hope you guys did enjoy the video, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all of the content I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.